quite possibly one of the worst video games ever made and ever published in video games history, Battlefield 2042. This is a game that people would consider even 100 times worse than what Cyberpunk 2077 was, and even No Man's Sky was, and even some would argue even worse than the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, or what I like to call the Defective Edition. And before I start this video, Rockstar Games, you guys are going to be getting a pass from me today, because I'm going to be specifically talking to EA and DICE, and more specifically about why they made the worst possible game ever made in gaming history, and is one of the main key reasons why games like Need for Speed 2022 got delayed, and games like Battlefront 2 and Anthem and Titanfall 2 got delayed, and pretty much almost every possible profitable game that probably would have been good and possibly been better than Battlefield 2042 got either canned or delayed, and instead got replaced by a garbage can of a video game and an overall dumpster fire of a project that was Battlefield 2042. This was a video that I was meaning to make a little bit earlier, but I had to scrap my original audio because I knew for a fact that that was going to get demonetized, and they would probably take the video down because I did get drunk before I made that video, and I decided to sober up and re-record it again for today's video. But today I'm just going to be overall talking about number one, the future of EA and DICE, and two, Need for Speed 2022, because it's grossly apparent that EA has not learned from past mistakes. DICE and EA is truly incompetent and just downright retarded in the gaming industry in 2022, and Need for Speed 2022 is probably going to be one of those games that it may or may not be good, but I'm leaning on the fence that it probably will turn out bad even though it got delayed. Now, if you guys haven't been keeping up with Battlefield, or just haven't been keeping up with the Battlefield 2042 situation as a whole, basically EA and DICE had 5 development teams, get this, 5 different development teams to all work on Battlefield 2042. It was forced to delay their projects or can other projects. It was moved to the development with Battlefield 2042, and which turned out to be one of possibly the worst video games to ever release in history, with how bug-filled it was, how horrible the game was, how the UI development was poorly mismanaged and handled, and just the overall bad perception and bad press that it got over around from not only the fans but also the people that in the gaming industry and gaming journalists. And I also just want to throw this in for record, and I'm not trying to brag here, but when a year ago when I made the video announcing the news that Need for Speed 2021 was going to be delayed until Need for Speed 2022, I said in that video that I knew that Battlefield 2042 was gonna flop. I told y'all in that video that Battlefield would not come close or hold a candle to the previous titles, and they will find a way to screw that up, despite the fact that they had 5 development teams working on that project, and they put aside a lot of games, including Need for Speed 2021 that I was looking forward to, and all the way until Need for Speed 2022 got delayed. I was really looking forward to that game, but now I am just not looking forward to that game at all, because if this is how they handle Battlefield 2042, then I know damn well the Need for Speed 2022 is gonna get that same damn treatment. I absolutely knew something like this was gonna happen, because EA has proven time over time again that they are just clueless and just as dumbfounded as retarded Rockstar Games, or what we like to call Cockstar Games nowadays in 2022. They are just as incompetent and just have no clue as to what they're doing in making video games. They can't make games, they really can't remaster games at all, and if they can, it's gonna be exactly how it is as the original with barely any improvements, and then they're gonna still shell it out for $60 at full price and probably put it out on their exclusive launchers as an exclusive to try and get as much money as they can, just like Rockstar did with the GTA Definitive Edition. But it has gotten to the point where the game has gotten so bad that on the Steam charts it can't even hold 4-digit player counts in the recurring players category, with barely holding on anywhere from 900 players to anywhere at most at its peak 2,400 players. And I'm just gonna put it to you like this: it peaked at 100,000 players when the game first came out, right? When the game was broken beyond repair, it lost 90% or 95% of its players, and 900 to 2,400 people out of 100,000 players, that's damn near next to nobody. Let's just put that into perspective. That's close to nobody. It is a ghost town. It is deserted. Like you're in the middle of Egypt somewhere in the Peruvian desert. Like that does not even come close to anybody playing this game. And it also gotten bad as to the point where the developers have the audacity to call us entitled for having a fully functional game or expecting a fully functional and finished game at release, and they always want to cry victim, talking about, oh, your high expectations, your expectations are so high. But meanwhile, games like Elden Ring, games like Halo Infinite, games like, I don't know, Gran Turismo, I know that's probably a poor example, but games like that, especially Elden Ring, outperformed and outshined Battlefield 2042 in every single fashion and is literally running laps around them, and they aren't even competing in the same category. There's a petition even going around for almost 200,000 people that signed this petition demanding EA and the government to step in for a class action lawsuit and have them return or refund their money back. They also blamed Halo Infinite for why the game had nothing to do with why their game launched in a poor state, might I add. They blamed them for why the game launched so bad, and it also got to the point where not only rumors are going around that Battlefield 2042 might be going free to play, but also there is rumors going around that DICE and EA is already working on an actual follow-up video game to Battlefield 2042 after the original game was launched so poorly and it got ridiculed by literally everybody and their grandmother but in the gaming industry. And I'm also gonna say this right here and now: the fact that there isn't no class action lawsuit yet or no type of federal investigation by the federal government or by the Better Business Bureau, because the federal government always likes to butt in and blame video games for tragedies, but when it comes to video game companies and publishers literally scamming and ripping off their customers, like, they don't do anything about it. And also, I cannot be the only one in 2022 that is just sick and tired of these publishers and game developers putting out an unfinished game and then having this mentality of releasing it later and fixing it later with patches. Because I'm pretty sure I can speak for 90% of y'all, because I remember back in the 2000s on the PlayStation 2 era and even the original Xbox era, that if a game like Battlefield 2042 got released in the state that it was when it initially released, the game would be ridiculed to all hell. The company will be criticized by literally everybody in the industry. The company will get investigated. They will get shut down. They will be made clowns out of everybody, and even by people that don't even play video games. It would have made the news. It would have made headlines everywhere. So I don't understand why nowadays they don't ridicule video games nowadays, especially with how they scam and how much they rip off their customers and their fan base and treat them like trash. And EA and DICE wants to wonder why they aren't respected anymore, because they can't even respect their own fan base and customers enough to give them updates or finish games on time, or at least put out a game that is somewhat finished and then communicate with the fan base as to why that there are bugs and when the bugs are going to be fixed. And EA also wants to wonder why Call of Duty, despite how garbage it has become over the past 3 or 4 years, wants to wonder why they are still running circles and laps around them every single year a Call of Duty game comes out, regardless of if it's good or not. And I'm going to keep it 4 times 25 with you guys. I am happy as hell that Battlefield 2042 failed, not because Need for Speed 2022 got delayed. Well, actually, who am I kidding? That's mainly the majority reason. But I am so happy that this failed, because this is a perfect example of how much the gaming has fallen so far from grace, and how gaming companies and gaming publishers are more concerned about pulling in profit rather than actually making a passionate project. And I'm also happy this game failed is because we can also use Battlefield 2042 as a perfect example as to why you should not be pre-ordering games in 2022, why you should not even come across the thought of pre-ordering games in 2022, and you should not be listening to what game publishers and game devs say in trailers and what they say when promoting a game, because they just straight up lie to your face, saying that Battlefield 2042 was going to be a Call of Duty killer. Yeah, it was a killer alright, because the game killed the Battlefield franchise, and nobody wants anything to do with Battlefield anymore because of how EA treats their company and how EA treats the games that put them on the map and made them relevant. And it still boggles me to this day how Need for Speed Heat got treated like trash and got cut off so early, and Ghost Games Studios got shut down despite the fact they made a great Need for Speed game this time around, and they got replaced by Criterion. And who knows what Need for Speed 2022 is going to turn out like, because it could turn out like Battlefield 2042 for all we know. But yet DICE and EA can put out games like Battlefield 2042 and DICE will not get shut down, but Black Box Studio did. Oh, and also, for anybody asking why am I using still shots and screenshots throughout the whole entire duration of this video, is because I had Battlefield 2042 beta content on my computer and on my hard drive, because I played the beta when it first came out and it was garbage, and I'm not going to torture you guys for like 10 or 11 minutes straight or however long this video is going to be without god-awful footage, because it's bad. It is overall bad. So I hope you guys don't mind the screenshots. I mean, who are you kidding? You guys like it when I use screenshots and memes during my rants. But anyways, I'm just gonna call it what it is. Like Battlefield 2042, worst game in gaming history. This your boy Gwop. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're new. I think Need for Speed 2022 might be next, and I'm out, bruh.